Welcome to the Zen Studies Podcast. I'm Domio Burke. Thanks to a new member, Peter from Croydon in the UK. So last week, I was in Zazen, which is a 24-hour-a-day residential silent Zen retreat. And this lasted for 6 days. That's 4 full days of silence with about 8 hours of Zazen a day. About once or twice a day, I would offer Teisho during Zazen. So Teisho means, Te means offer, show or present, and show means recite or proclaim. And there is a tradition of Teisho in Zen retreats where the teacher offers words. Sometimes it's called an encouragement talk, which is meant to try to help people connect with the Dharma in that very moment. So it's definitely not explanatory. It's not about imparting information. It's not about making a point. It's about really connecting with the deeper aspects of Zazen. So these talks are never recorded, generally. And so mine last week weren't recorded. But somebody at the retreat mentioned, it'd be nice to have one of these recorded to listen to. So I thought what I would do is offer a Teisho to you, the podcast listener, and understanding that you may or may not be sitting Zazen while you listen to this, but that that is what I'm assuming that you're doing if you take full advantage of this Teisho. Which is funny because in Zen, we don't do guided meditations, but in some senses you might think of it like that. So I will pause for a few moments and then imagine ourselves deep in Zazen, perhaps after several days of session, several days of stillness. So you will have been showing up for Zazen period after Zazen period, moment after moment throughout each day, trying to be silent and mindful and present. And this can be very challenging work, just to show up for our life, to show up as wholeheartedly and with as much awareness as we can. And it's helpful to remind ourselves of why we do this. Of course, because our life is so fleeting. So very, very short and ephemeral. We often live as if we have an infinite amount of time, a chance to get around to that thing later, to pay attention later. But of course, each day of our life, each moment of our life passes never to be regained. And so we want to be awake. We want to be living fully. We want to be intimate with our life. So we dedicate ourselves to this practice, which isn't even meditation practice. It is just showing up. Trying to be as open and aware and attentive as possible, like that infant who is experiencing everything for the first time, sitting in the middle of a spring meadow, looking at the flowers and the insects, the sunshine, senses open, mind open, appreciating with wonder. But to show up with that kind of energy, openness, and awareness over and over, each moment, no matter what is going on, it's not so easy. In sesshin, because we are required to show up for Zazen throughout the day, most of the time we don't particularly feel like it. It's a wonderful exercise in testing our willingness. Much of the time, the effort we will be making is to tolerate life, to build our tolerance for physical discomfort, emotional discomfort, boredom, sadness, difficult emotions, perseveration, annoying random thoughts, whatever is arising. We're trying to be present with it, not trying to do anything about it, not even trying to do anything about our reactions to what is arising. No matter what is going on, we can simply expand our awareness around it. Include it. Include it in life. Life with a capital L, that which we are trying to be intimate with. And if we keep up the effort, tolerate our sleepiness, our dullness, our stress, anything that is happening, there may come a time when it is not so uncomfortable. When we're quite willing to sit and there is a measure of space and peacefulness, then we can open up even more deeply. What keeps us from being completely at ease, completely accepting, completely attentive like that infant? There will be things in our body and mind and heart which rise up as if an obstacle, an unwillingness to accept this, to accept yourself, regrets about the past, fears of the future. All kinds of things are obstructing our complete and utter peace and intimacy with life. We don't go searching for those things. intellectually, but we invite awareness of them as we sit. We expand our awareness and invite those things which might be difficult to accept in our life, in the world. So we know we are not spiritually bypassing, just using our Zazen to avoid what is difficult, what needs to be addressed, what needs to be healed. So we can invite this into our Zazen and simply shine the light of awareness on whatever we might encounter without an agenda to fix or figure anything out, but a willingness to see, to acknowledge, and when we do this, in the stillness of Zazen, clarity may develop, which helps us move forward. At a certain point in session, we have done this work of showing up moment after moment, hour after hour, day after day. And we build up something that we call samadhi power. Just a natural stillness of mind. And it's not something that we achieve through force of will, but it is something that our practice is allowing to happen, is making space for. So it can be described as our Zazen practice is making a lap so that the samadhi cat can come and curl up on it. We can't determine when that is going to happen or for how long, but we work on the conditions. And then we may have moments of intimacy with life. A sense that whatever is before us, the carpet we're looking at, the wall, our physical sensations, whatever noises are in our environment, our intention, everything that is coming together this very moment, we can perceive as being complete unto itself, perhaps luminous, precious. This is when, through our practice, through that simple practice of showing up wholeheartedly without agenda, our grasp on our mental map loosens. The mental map of reality through which we usually relate to everything. The self-referential map may, for a moment, become transparent. We can see through it at what is always surrounding us, at what is always going on. the immensity, the beauty, the interdependence. And when we feel intimate with life, it is very much about just this moment, just this body. And then perhaps you are able to sit and feel that intimacy, experience that intimacy for a somewhat prolonged period of time. This is a lovely place to sit, to enjoy. But it is not the end. Our Zazen should never have an end. There should never be a place, a state where we think, this is it. Now I will just sit and enjoy it. There should always be a sense of lively movement, of engagement, of more. Because the universe is infinite. There is more to see, to appreciate, to integrate. So we seek not to become complacent. So even when we feel intimate with life, when we have some samadhi, we want to look further with curiosity. Recognize the limitations of our view. I want to keep letting go of seeing through that mental map. That mental map is so much a part of us that we don't even realize the extent of it. How much we are sitting, even when deeply at peace, in the middle of a host of assumptions about ourselves and the world and how we relate to it. So we want to keep questioning, expanding our awareness, perhaps asking ourselves, who sits here? Who looks out from these eyes? Who knows what is true? Who moves these hands when I eat? Who maintains this posture? Any intellectual answers will not be satisfying or transformative. The questions are meant to help us start unraveling that mental map, to question it, to look deeper. I think I know who, but do I? So we ask the questions not in order to come up with some fixed answer, but to open ourselves, to recognize the limitations of our views. Who? can use that word like a wedge to open up our mind. And if there is something that seems to be opening up, some piece of truth that is appearing before you, you can keep your attention on it without violating the practice of Zazen. It is just as if you were that infant in the field and an amazing beetle walked by and you paid close attention to it. What color is it? How is it moving? Where is it going? Similarly, in a very natural way, you can inquire within your own direct experience. What is this? What is going on here? It takes some energy, some samadhi power to be able to hold your awareness on something internal like this. It is not something that is easily done outside of retreat, although it is possible if you are diligent and you sit a lot. So as you engage in that internal inquiry into trying to see the true nature of life, inevitably you will fall into the trap of objectifying what it is you are trying to see, imagining it is outside you and you are the willfulness that pushes toward the understanding. This is how we usually operate. And so inevitably, as we inquire internally, we will do this. And then, whatever it is that we have tasted, glimpsed, will elude us. But then we will also fall into complacency, the other extreme, where then we think perhaps we've seen enough and that's gratifying, so now we'll just slack off. Or we won't quite put enough energy into our inquiry. And then our mind will drift away. Our attention will drift away from whatever it is we were investigating. To be able to navigate the middle way, to simply look, to give your attention completely, but without any expectation, simply receptive. This is challenging. You will learn to do this only after much trial and error, recognizing, striving, letting go and returning to the simple practice, showing up wholeheartedly, expanding our awareness to include anything and everything that arises within and without. That is where it begins, and that is ultimately what it is at the end. Just this effort. And when you find yourself sinking into complacency, then you work a little on your bodhicitta, on your awareness of how short and brief and precious life is, and what it is you want to awaken to. Inevitably, as we make this effort to show up wholeheartedly, without expectation, as we try to tolerate whatever is going on, to stop excluding anything we are not yet at peace with, to allow ourselves to become intimate with life, to take our curiosity and try to see the true nature of life. Inevitably, our Zazen becomes an effort. And we forget the important piece of relaxation, not getting wound up in expectations of results. The progress, if you will, in Zazen, in our practice, unfolds over the course of many years. So no matter how much effort we have put out, we should remind ourselves of that and try to trust that this practice of showing up, of just showing up, is what is transformative. Our conscious evaluation of our Zazen experience, of what we may have enjoyed or appreciated or seen or achieved or let go of, it's just the very surface of our experience. We are being transformed at a very deep level by this practice. So in the end, we relax and trust, and just return to the simplest aspect of our practice, letting go of all of our ideas, just breathing and sitting, trying to bring as much of our awareness as we can just to this, moment after moment. So that is it for my Teisho. I will be back soon with another episode. I hope you'll tune in. Thanks for listening.